we're gonna work on the 6.1 a little bit tonight. But I gotta get it on an engine stand because one, I need this cart for another project. So I gotta put the rear seal on there, so I'm gonna do that. But I don't know how many of you guys watch him, but Logan Built on YouTube, he's a transmission guy, and he's got the Fossil. It's a pretty sweet truck. He asked me a couple questions about putting a 12 valve head on a 6.7 block, and I've never had the problem he's having. So we're gonna do a little investigation. Now, I've done a few of these. 2 of them was with Hamilton heads, and they're completely flat. I'll show you in a minute. But they're completely flat across the bottom, so you're obviously not gonna have a problem with them. And then the other 2 I use industrial cylinder heads because they're a little heavier duty. They're just a little bit harder to get. But we're gonna get this thing on an engine stand, but like I said, I wanna put this rear housing on first. So then I can put the oil pan and all that stuff on without having to monkey around to get that out of our way. So we're gonna put a speedy sleeve or oversized seal on here, put that on, and then we'll get it on an engine stand, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna throw you in a time lapse for me to do that. I've showed that process a few times, so it's not really, I'll have to show it again, I don't think. Unless if you wanna see it, you can just go on my search on the page and you'll see the see for it. But let's put the speedy sleeve on, or the sleeve on, seal and housing on, and let's get this thing on an engine stand. Okay, found some dowels. Well, that's going to be a problem, guys. So, what the problems he was having is the same problem apparently I'm going to have. Learn something new every day. If you think you know everything, I can guarantee you don't know everything. Is that. So, I think what we're going to have to do here. So I guess if you're running a Hamilton head, you wouldn't have this problem, or if you're lucky enough to have one of those industrials. I know the last time I tried to get one of the big industrial castings, and basically the difference in the industrial casting is this cavity inside here is filled up. It's all solid inside there, and that would you wouldn't have a problem. Now, that being said, would it leak if you were to silicone the gasket? I honestly don't know. I'm not sure I want to find out though. But there is something that we can use to fix that. I have bought some of the stuff that I was talking about. This is Belzona 1111. This stuff is not cheap. And now I've used this stuff before, but it is a basically kind of like an epoxy. So because everybody knows what JB Weld is. It's kind of like JB Weld, just like, it's like the difference between Pee Wee Herman and The Rock, to give you an idea. So Pee Wee Herman is JB Weld, The Rock is Belzona. That gives you an idea. One is way stronger than the other. Okay, so that is the reason for this. But now this stuff, like I said, is not cheap. This stuff was, so it's 1 kilogram, or not, yeah, 1 kilogram. When you mix the two together, that's $500 Canadian. So the stuff is not cheap. So if you're doing this, I do recommend using a product like this. It doesn't have to be Belzona, but I do recommend using a product like this because you don't want to have a problem. This is machinable, so this is something you can do prior to taking it to the machine shop and having it machined. They can surface it off and all that stuff, and it will be absolutely perfect, and it will stay in there forever. till you take it out. And that is one thing with this stuff, is that it can be taken out because you can drill it. So if you wanted to drill holes in it, if you wanted to put a 6.7 head back on per se, then you can do that. So, and you never know, we might do that one day. So I mixed up some last night just because I wanted to monkey with it and do some. So I taped the deck all off, obviously, because you don't want to get anything in there. This hole I plugged right off. This hole I left a little gap, and I'll probably go in there and clean up just so there is some coolant flow that comes through there. And then you can also see, if you look in there, you can see where I cleaned it up with a die grinder, because you want to have a really nice rough surface for that stuff to grab a hold of. So I went in there with a die grinder and then went in there with a porting pad, which is just a super coarse sandpaper basically. But I'm going to do these 4 now, plug them all up, and then when it gets dry, if you mix it properly in this ambient temperature, it's supposed to take like 35 to 40 minutes. I don't know how long that stuff took to actually dry up, because I put it on, made sure it wasn't moving around, and then I went home. So I don't know how long it took to actually dry. But this stuff, like I said, is just like JB Weld. Your 3 parts to 1 part is what you're supposed to do. So it's not really, 3 parts to 1 part. So it's not really rocket science. It comes with this and this thing and this for doing on different surfaces and stuff. And like I said, it comes with the instructions. Like I said, you can buy this stuff all over the place. There is a distributor right here in town for us, just because of the oil fields. There's lots of companies that use it and stuff. But you can buy that stuff all over the States. Like I said, you can, and you actually can, I believe anyway, you can buy smaller jugs of it. But like I said, and then I would imagine some machine shops will probably already have it, because that's what it's a lot of guys use it for. Like if you have inclusions and blocks on like big trucks and stuff, they'll use it for cleaning up that surface, because you can only take a certain amount off those surfaces. So if you, let's say, surface the block, sometimes the block is junk where it just has those inclusions. You can fill the inclusions, and then you can machine it, you can sand it, you can do whatever to fix the pitting or whatever it may be, and it's basically like brand new. It kind of feels cheap to me to do it that way, but you know, it is what it is. Something else that I was contemplating, maybe we'll talk about that later. I was thinking about doing a dry deck motor, and that stuff would probably be perfect for doing it. It's not gonna be a cheap way to do it, but it'd probably be a perfect way to do it because it's super strong. Anyways, so let's get after doing that. I'm gonna mix some of this stuff up, and we'll fill up those holes, and then when it's dry, I'll come back and we will, I think I'm just gonna file and sand it. I think for the purposes of what we're doing with this thing, it'll be just fine for the way I'm doing it. I would recommend for it to be surfaced on a surfacing machine, unless you're really good with a file and sandpaper. I've done lots of it, so, and then if I screw it up, worst case scenario, I just pull the block apart, throw it in a surfacer. But if you're gonna do it and you're gonna have the block surface and all that stuff, I would recommend doing it prior and then having it surfaced off. And then if you wanna drill holes through it or whatever, so that's the thing, is you can plug the holes off completely. So this is something that I actually honestly never even thought of doing when I've done the other videos and stuff. So I'm gonna actually do a separate video talking about this for guys that are doing P-Pump 24 valve, or P-Pump 12 valves. No, sorry, 6-7 blocked 12 valves. And I never even thought of it. I honestly never even realized that there was a problem there because of the heads that I was using, and we never had a leak. So it was one of those things. I'm just glad that Logan from Logan Built, if you watch him on YouTube, he does transmission stuff, and he has the Fossil, which is a pretty cool truck. He brought it to my attention, and I thought, well, now that I know there's a problem, we're gonna have to remedy that. I would have figured it out with that head anyway, or whatever head I was putting on. So it just, basically, he saved me a head gasket, which, well, I guess regardless, I would have had to fix it. So I would have bought that stuff and had to do a head gasket. So, all right, let's get into this thing and get it done, so I can go on to doing something else while that dries, and probably do another video while that's drying. Okay. Now, I was talking to somebody the other day about oil dipstick plugs. Just thought I would mention it maybe in this video because I just dawned on me. He was having a problem with the plugs that he was getting were falling through the holes. This is for a 6.7, and you can see how the plug actually has a flange on top. So you could get one for, if you're watching, you could get one for a 6.7 block, and that would probably fill your hole for sure. Lots of times on what I do with these, when I have them apart, if the plugs are out, what I do is I actually drill and tap these ones, and I'll drill and tap them 1/8 pipe plug. They don't, the plug doesn't fit super tight, but I just put it in there and then put a little bit of case sealant around them, put them in because there's no pressure there. So, all right, so we'll be back when this thing is dry. Hey guys, just wanted to let you know I appreciate everybody that's buying stuff off the website. If you didn't know about the website, the link is in the description. It is just cutteruprob.com. Go out to the website, check out some merch, and very shortly, as it stands, we'll be putting more and more products on. Pretty much weekly, we'll be putting more products on. So anything that you're interested in buying, there'll be more and more products constantly going onto the website. So please check out the website, buy some merch. It really helps the channel be able to grow and do more cool stuff, like dynoing more things. And yeah, do cool stuff. All right, back to the video. All right guys, so I got the block flipped around, or I got the block, all the belzona is all dry. Now I've cleaned off a couple spots here. You can see where I cleaned it off there. We're probably gonna have to drill this out or clean these holes out a little bit. But these ones are kind of still taped off because I'm gonna cut the tape around on them. These ones I did with no tape on there, and it wasn't too bad, but I'd like to tape it up just to try to keep any shrapnel out of there. And I'll show you how I was doing it. You can file it, I'm sure, because I have filed it, and you can machine it. But I thought I would just try something new because I like new things. If you guys have watched me for any length of time, you've seen these carbide scrapers, which are worth every cent they cost. But it seems to take it off a really nice, perfectly flat across the top. So this is what I'm going to use to finish the rest of these off. But I need to just cut. I got to cut around. Should have just plugged those right off. All right, guys, I screwed up. All right, well, we got to add some more. I screwed up. So I should have paid more attention to what I was doing. Not that it was bad, I just screwed up. So these holes here that I left thinking that I was being smart leaving them, these ones, I should have filled them up just like that, because the 12 valve head doesn't receive coolant through these holes anyway. So what I'm going to do is mix up a little more belzona, and we're going to fill these holes up completely. You know, we're this far into it, I might as well just completely fill them up. So if you guys want to do this, just fill the holes up completely, because it's way easier than doing it 3 times. Wow. I tested on these two, so I guess I only did it twice. I just was testing on these. So I'm going to leave it just like this. I'm going to mix up a little more belzona, and we'll fill up. This one's actually sealed right off, but we'll top it up anyway. We'll put some in the rest of these, fill them right up, and yeah, because I think that makes the best sense at where we are right now. One of those things, sometimes it's a learning experience. If I knew everything, I probably wouldn't be standing here talking to you. All right, well, I'm gonna mix them up. You guys don't need to watch me do that. It's just like mixing up, you know, like the last time I mixed it up. So I'm going to do that. I'll wait until it's dry, which will be tomorrow probably, or even maybe the day after, and we will, yeah, we'll be good. There's whole block things to do, but other than that, we're basically almost to the point now where we just need to put this thing together and get the truck here, which is going to happen in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping to do some stuff over Christmas. This video will come out before that. Yeah, so we got lots of stuff going on, and I will see you guys on the next one.